Welcome to the stories on Echoes of Revenge. Step into a world where love turns dangerous, revenge feels inevitable, and every story drags you deeper into the shadows of desire, betrayal, and the human heart. Let's begin today's story. The lake house sat on 3 acres of pristine waterfront. I'd bought it at auction 8 years ago for $340,000. My brother Marcus didn't know. Nobody in the family knew. I was 26 then, working in commercial real estate development. I'd learned to keep investments private after my family treated my first condo purchase as community property they could borrow against, stay in without asking, and assume they'd inherit someday. So when the lake property went to foreclosure auction, I bid under an LLC. Clean title, no family drama, perfect weekend retreat. Marcus had always assumed our late grandmother owned it. She'd spent summers there in the 90s, died in 2012, and the property eventually foreclosed. He didn't know I'd bought it. He'd stayed there exactly twice over 8 years. Both times I'd left it unlocked after my own visits, and he'd assumed he had family rights to use it. Grand's old place, he'd call it at family dinners. Still can't believe Mom let it go to foreclosure. Such a waste. Mom would shake her head sadly. I'd say nothing. The property deed sat in my safe deposit box with my name and my LLC's name. Not Grand's estate. Not Mom's. Last summer, Marcus started talking about development opportunities. That lake property could be worth serious money. Developers are buying up the whole shoreline. Building luxury condos. I listened carefully. Who owns it now? Probably still in some probate mess, Marcus said. But family property is family property. We could claim it, get it titled properly, sell it before anyone notices. My stomach tightened. Claim it? That's fraud. It's family property, he insisted. Gran wanted us to have it. The bureaucracy lost track. We're just correcting the record. That's when I understood. He didn't just think he could use it. He thought he could sell it. 2 months later, Marcus called me excited. I've got a developer interested in the lake property. $1.2 million. They want to build a 12-unit luxury complex. I'm meeting with a real estate attorney tomorrow. Marcus, you don't own that property. It's family property, he said. Grand's estate. Mom signed over her rights to me. I've got documentation. What documentation? A quitclaim deed from Mom. She signed over any interest in Grand's estate properties. That includes the lake house. I felt something cold settle in my chest. Mom couldn't sign over what she didn't own. But Marcus clearly believed he had legitimate ownership. You're selling it? I kept my voice neutral. Already accepted the offer. $1.2 million. Developers in escrow. We close in 45 days. I'm splitting it with Mom. You want 10%? Family loyalty. 10% of $1.2 million from my own property, offered like a generous gift. The audacity was almost beautiful. Let me think about it, I said. I didn't need to think. I needed to document everything. The next morning, Marcus posted on Facebook. Excited to announce the sale of my lake property. $1.2 million to a developer. Sometimes patience pays off. #real estate wins #lake life. 43 people liked it. Mom commented, so proud of you. Gran would be thrilled. Uncle Dennis, congrats. Smart investment move. Cousin Rachel, that's amazing. Invite us to the closing celebration. I screenshot everything. Then I called the escrow company. Pacific Northwest Title and Escrow had been tagged in Marcus's post by the developer, Cascade Ridge Development LLC. Hi, I'm calling about the lake property escrow. Account number should be under Marcus Chin, seller. The escrow officer, Jennifer Park, pulled up the file. Yes, we've got that file. How can I help you? I'm Marcus's sister. He mentioned there might be some title issues. I wanted to make sure everything's clear before closing. We're running full title insurance, Jennifer said. Standard for properties in this price range. The title search is actually happening this week. If there are any clouds on title, we'll find them. When will you know? Title report should be complete by Friday. We'll notify all parties immediately if there are any issues. I thanked her and waited. The ghost ledger accumulated quickly once I started calculating. 8 years of owning that property. 8 years of property taxes I'd paid. $34,000 total. 8 years of maintenance, repairs, insurance. $28,000. 8 years of Marcus and Mom treating it as family property, while I funded everything. Priceless. Every time Marcus had stayed there without asking, 4 times total, he'd left the place a mess. Empty beer bottles, dirty dishes, wet towels on hardwood floors. I'd cleaned up after him like a silent housekeeping service. He never knew I owned it. He thought he was using abandoned family property. The emotional cost was subtler. I'd kept this investment secret for 8 years because I couldn't trust my own family with the truth. That's what they'd done. Made honesty feel like vulnerability, made privacy feel like necessity. On Friday afternoon, Jennifer from Escrow called Marcus. I know because he called me immediately afterward, his voice shaking. There's a fucking problem with the title. What kind of problem? The title company says the property isn't in Grand's estate. Says it's owned by some LLC. North Shore Holdings LLC. The whole deal might collapse. I let the silence stretch. That's terrible. The developer's lawyer is demanding proof of ownership. I've got Mom's quitclaim deed, but the title company says that's meaningless if Grand's estate never owned it. They're saying it was foreclosed on in 2016 and sold at auction. How the fuck did that happen? Maybe someone bought it? But who? I've been treating this like family property for years. If someone bought it, why didn't they kick me out? Because I wasn't there to see you trespassing, I thought. And because I didn't know you were planning to commit fraud. What did the title company say exactly? I asked. They're demanding the current owner's contact information. They found the purchase records from the foreclosure auction. Cash sale. $340,000. Buyer was North Shore Holdings LLC. That's who owns it. Not Gran. Not Mom. Not me. Did they give you the LLC owner's name? Not yet. The escrow officer said they're contacting the registered agent. But this kills the deal. The developer's backing out unless I can produce clear title. My lawyer's freaking out. His lawyer. David something. Marcus had hired him specifically for this transaction. Paid him $15,000 in fees to draft the purchase agreement, represent him in escrow, handle the closing. Have you told the lawyer you don't actually own the property? I asked carefully. I told him it was family property. Grand's estate. He should have verified ownership before drafting contracts. Did you give him a deed showing your ownership? Pause. I gave him Mom's quitclaim. A quitclaim from Mom transferring her interest in Grand's estate. But if Grand's estate never owned it, then the quitclaim is worthless, Marcus finished. The developer's threatening to sue for breach of contract. They've spent $40,000 on due diligence, architectural plans, zoning research. They're saying I misrepresented ownership. Did you? I thought I owned it. How is that fraud? It's fraud when you accept $1.2 million for property you didn't verify you own, I thought. But I said nothing. Monday morning, Jennifer from Escrow called me directly. Is this the registered agent for North Shore Holdings LLC? Yes. We're handling an escrow for a property your LLC owns. Lake property, 3.2 acres, waterfront. There's been an attempted sale by someone claiming ownership through an estate. We need to verify actual ownership before we can proceed. The property is mine, I said. Purchased at foreclosure auction in 2016. I can provide the deed, title, insurance policy, and 8 years of property tax receipts. The seller is Marcus Chin. Any relation? Pi brother. Silence on her end. Then, does he have any ownership interest? None. Zero. He doesn't own it, never owned it, and apparently didn't verify ownership before accepting a $1.2 million offer. We'll need to notify all parties immediately. The developer's attorney will want to speak with you. And Mr. Chen's attorney has significant exposure here. Malpractice. Potentially. He drafted contracts for a sale of property his client didn't own. That's a failure of due diligence. The developer's already talking about recovering their costs. I sent Jennifer everything. My purchase deed, title, insurance from 2016, 8 years of property tax payments, proof of LLC ownership, my driver's license showing I'm the LLC's sole member. The escrow collapsed Tuesday morning. Marcus called me screaming. You own the lake house? Since when? Since 2016. Foreclosure auction. I bought it. You let me think it was grand's. You let me try to sell it. You humiliated me. You tried to sell property you didn't own, Marcus. You accepted $1.2 million for something you never verified you had rights to. I didn't humiliate you. You did that yourself. Family property isn't a legal concept. My voice cut through his. You don't get to claim property just because Gran once owned it. She lost it in foreclosure. I bought it at auction. It's mine. Legally, completely, solely mine. He hung up. The developer's attorney called me next. Miss Chin? Daniel Park, representing Cascade Ridge Development. We've got a significant problem here. Your seller doesn't own the property he tried to sell you. Correct. We've spent $40,000 on due diligence based on his representation of ownership. We're exploring legal options against Mr. Chin and his attorney. His attorney? David Brennan drafted the purchase agreement warranting clear title. Basic due diligence would have revealed ownership issues. We're looking at a malpractice claim. David Brennan, Marcus's real estate attorney, called me that afternoon. His voice was careful. Miss Chin, I represented your brother in what we now understand was an invalid property sale. I need to ask, were you aware he was attempting this transaction? He told me about it. I warned him he didn't own the property. And you didn't inform me directly? You weren't my attorney. I'm not required to fix your client's fraud. It wasn't fraud. He accepted $1.2 million for property he didn't own. He told a developer he owned it. He signed contracts warranting clear title. That's fraud, Mr. Brennan. And you facilitated it without verifying basic ownership. Silence. The developer's attorney has indicated they'll be filing a malpractice claim against me. My insurance carrier is investigating. This could cost me my license. You should have checked the title before drafting contracts. Your brother provided what appeared to be valid documentation. A quitclaim from someone who didn't own the property. You took his word instead of checking county records. That's not my problem, Mr. Brennan. That's yours. The lawsuit came 3 weeks later. Cascade Ridge Development sued Marcus for breach of contract, fraud, and misrepresentation. They sued David Brennan for professional negligence and malpractice. Combined damages, $85,000. Marcus called Mom. Mom called me. How can you let them destroy your brother? He tried to sell my property. For $1.2 million. Property I've owned for 8 years, paid taxes on, maintained. He committed fraud. His lawyer failed basic due diligence. These are consequences, Mom. He didn't know you owned it. He didn't check. He assumed. He accepted over $1 million based on an assumption. That's not my fault. She hung up. David Brennan's malpractice insurance settled the claim for $65,000. His insurance premiums tripled. His law firm removed him from real estate transactions. 8 years of specialization gone. Marcus settled with the developer for $40,000. Their actual costs. He borrowed it from Mom. She took a second mortgage on her house. The Facebook post stayed up for 2 weeks before Marcus deleted it. But screenshots live forever. Family members started asking questions. Uncle Dennis called. Marcus tried to sell property he didn't own? For $1.2 million. Accepted the offer without verifying ownership. Jesus. That's fraud. Yes. The family fragmented predictably. Half believed Marcus made an honest mistake. Half believed he knew exactly what he was doing. Nobody invited him to Thanksgiving. I still own the lake house. It's worth about $1.4 million now based on recent comparable sales. I might sell it someday. Or not. Either way, it's mine to decide. Marcus doesn't speak to me. Mom sends occasional texts asking when I'll forgive him. I don't respond. Last month I got a letter from David Brennan's former law firm. They're suing him for damaging their reputation. The malpractice claim brought scrutiny to other transactions. Apparently this wasn't his first failure of due diligence. The lake house sits quiet on 3 acres of waterfront. I visit most weekends. The water's cold and clear. The property's mine. And my brother learned an expensive lesson about assuming ownership of things he never bothered to verify. Some mistakes cost $1.2 million plus legal fees. This one did.